When you're playing a real-life person, I'm sure some people tend to think that, well, all you have to do is imitate them, but there has to be so much more to it. Can you explain the process?
Yes, I think it's anything but imitation, actually. That's the trap. That's when you're dead. That's when you're falling flat on your face and you're just trying to sound like someone or maybe pretend to maneuver your body like someone specifically for an actress, because you're looking at their body of work and they're playing characters. So that's not even who they are, unless you have lots and lots of footage of maybe interviews or them as in their personal life. So I think that's a terrible plan, just to imitate somebody. You have to find a way in to the essence of them, to the spirit of them, somehow, with just a facet of their personality, maybe a couple of tidbits of information even, and looking at the body of work and the choices as someone goes along their life, and you have to just put it together and hope you don't insult anybody on the way.
Were you able to, was there any specific footage of Vera Miles from that time period that you were keen to watch?
Well, there was an interview that I found that where someone's asking her about being, about being like a beautiful woman and about being a sexy actress, and she says, I'm interested in being everything. I'm interested in having, she says, I'm interested in, all kinds of parts and a diversity. And that was, I found, really telling of her character. And I also could hear her voice as her. Even though that wasn't the point. We weren't trying to recreate people's voices necessarily. It is an aspect of it, but there was that interview that I watched over and over and over again. And of course, her work in Psycho I watched a lot, but also wasn't trying to just imitate that. But it was really the conversations that I had with her grandson that I feel like I was able to dive into her brain and into her heart more than anything in the best way.
Now, there's a lot of tension between her and Hitch in the film. What did you learn about the relationship that created this tension?
Well, I learned that they respected each other as artists, and they were both always striving to be the best at what they do. So they had a real camaraderie, actually. And Hitch I think he had amazing ideas for what her career could be, and she just had different ideas for what her life was going to be. And career was a part of that, but just not in the way that he necessarily thought it should be. And I think it was disappointing to him, and it was hard. It was hard for him to accept her choice. And that's where the contention comes from, but he was playful with her, and she was playful with him, and he was tough on her, and she was tough on him. And I think that is the part of that relationship that we don't know all that much about, and that we're trying to observe in this film.
I'm curious about the atmosphere on the set, because you have all these people playing people who actually existed. Is anybody getting really method with it in terms of preparation before, the director yells action?
Right before, I think everyone's getting a little method with it. Not on an extreme way, not in an extreme way. But yes, right before, you have to take a minute, I feel like I do at least, to sort of step back in to this other world. You're kind of always there because you're in these beautiful costumes, and you're surrounded by the set that is so meticulously, beautifully detailed, and you really do feel like you're transported and transformed. So it doesn't take too long to just, sort of remember, oh right, I'm stepping back into this woman for a minute, and then you can pop back out of it. So it wasn't too extreme, but we all, I think, had to do that in some way.